Hello. In my introduction to the power of emotions at work, I talked about something that I'm calling an emotionally well-regulated social structure. I call the workplace unintentional community as opposed to intentional community. Because in most workplaces, what happens is you have a whole bunch of strangers who will soon become friends, possibly, put together in a place where our human needs are generally not thought about or met appropriately. Our human needs for quiet and privacy and break time and comfort is mostly not there. Our human needs for honesty, emotional and psychological, they're calling it safety now, but I don't like that term. Social and emotional and psychological health. I'm going to say health. Um, and where we have the right to be full human beings instead of just cogs in someone else's machine. So in the unintentional community of most workplaces, you will find lots and lots of emotional and social and empathic trouble that is only there because the social structure allows it to be there. We can create better social structures. We can create more comfortable, human-focused workplaces. And it's so important that we do because, as I said in the introduction video, some research has found that upwards of 120,000 people in the United States are dying per year from the social and emotional and psychological damage that the workplace does to us. It's a pretty serious situation, and we saw with the Great Resignation that people have had it. So for those of us who own businesses and want them to survive this pandemic, creating a social and emotionally well-regulated social structure is crucial. And if you've been in good relationships or if you've been in healthy social groups, you will know some of these 9 features. The first feature is emotions are spoken of openly and people have workable emotional vocabularies. Emotions are not less than anything. Emotions are crucial to cognition, and emotions underlie everything you think, every action you take, every decision you make, and everything you do. So if you don't understand your emotions, you will not understand yourself. So emotions need to be spoken of openly, and people need to have functional emotional vocabularies. And in this book, I help people develop that. Numbers 2 and 3 are sort of together. Mistakes and conflicts are addressed without avoidance, hostility, or blaming. And you can be honest about mistakes and difficult conflicts without being blamed or shunned. This is huge. This is huge. In most workplaces, these don't exist. And some studies have shown that upwards of 85% of all workers throughout the structure have silenced themselves and refused to send a problem upward. They have refused to speak upward about difficulties, right, to their manager going up, because they know that they will not be welcomed, that they may be shunned, they may be blamed, they may be told they need to cheer up, or they'll communicate upward and nothing will happen. So they just give up. So these two, that you have to be able to have a process through which people can speak of mistakes and conflicts. You have to, or your business will suffer, right? Even these 85% of workers, they were being silent about things that were dangerous, right? They were being silent about things that could have hurt somebody because they knew that nobody wants to listen. So the workplace has a lot to answer for in that area of not being willing to look at problems in an adult and functional way. Numbers 4 and 5, your emotions and sensitivities are noticed and respected, and you notice and respect the emotions and sensitivities of others. So if someone's angry one day, you don't ignore them. You don't try to jolly them. If someone's feeling very anxious, you would ask what's going on instead of just telling them to stop. You would treat emotions as what they are, which is functions of intelligence and not a problem in your workday. You would see emotions as information. And this is so important. Number 6 and 7 are also together. Your emotional awareness and skills are openly requested and respected. And you openly request and respect the emotional awareness and skills of others. In the workplace, this would be a revolution, because how many times have you been working and someone said, you would not believe, like, no, hello, how are you? Nothing. You would not believe what marketing just did, right? And so now your work, whatever the heck you were doing, now you are dealing with this person's issues, right? So your emotional awareness and skills were not requested, and they are not respected. You are just expected to do what I call emotional empathic work for free in the workplace alongside your own work. And in an emotionally well-regulated workplace, you would know, if you have just had it with marketing, that you would say to someone, I am having trouble and I am wondering if you would have time to talk. Instead of saying, you would not believe what marketing just did, or whatever, right? You would respect other people as well. And so that entire kind of overwork of emotional empathic fixing for other people, it would now come out of the shadows, and people would be aware that they could do it and that it is work and that you would ask. That could change most workplaces immensely. Number 8 is really important. You and others feel safe enough and supported enough to speak the truth, even if it might destabilize relationships or processes, right? And in most workplaces, this doesn't happen. This does not happen. If you notice that someone has been promoted beyond their level of ability, and we've all seen that, right? And they're kind of, putting on airs and pretending they know what they're doing, when inside they're sort of falling apart. In an emotionally unregulated workplace, that's going to create all kinds of conflict all by itself. In an emotionally well-regulated workplace, that person could say it. They could say, I have been promoted beyond my ability to function, and I either need help in this job or I need to step back, right? You almost never hear that, never. And people could also say to that person, I do not want to disrespect you. And at the same time, I see that you are really struggling in this position, right? There would be a mechanism, right, through which you could speak the truth to someone you care about, and in a business you care about, where your financial health and well-being are tied to everybody doing the best job they can and being in the correct position in the social structure of the workplace, right? You would have that. It's just logical, but most workplaces have never even heard of it. It's like, what? I don't even know what that means. The final one is the social structure welcomes you, nourishes you, and revitalizes you. In a healthy social and emotional structure, which is emotionally well regulated, you do not dread Monday morning. You do not long for 5 p.m. or whatever time you get off. You do not count the end of your day. You do not, mark off until Friday and you can get out. In an emotionally well-regulated social structure that is welcoming and functional and intentional, you like being there. It nourishes you. It's a lovely place to be. And you get your best work done because there's not nonsense in your way that doesn't even need to be there. So as we come back from the pandemic, if we ever really do, and we've seen the truth of the workplace, we've seen how the workplace treats people, we've seen that the so-called essential workers have been treated in many cases like garbage. And many people have had it and they're just not willing to play the game anymore. So let's stop the game. It was not a good game in the first place. Let us develop emotionally well-regulated social structures to make the workplace a functional place for human beings to live their lives, to do their work, and to support themselves and their families and their communities. It is crucial at all times to create social structures that are healthy for people. In this book and in my work, I've tried to, as simply as possible, lay out a plan for how to do that. What does it look like? What are the features that make a social structure healthy and functional? And if you listen to those 9 things, those 9 features, and are like, Carla, that's never going to happen. It does happen. I developed those features by thinking about the functional social structures and relationships and families I've seen. It happens here at Emotion Dynamics Incorporated. We have these in place. And it's so important for me as a leader to have this in place, because if you don't have this for your leader, you are going to damage them. They will be damaged. And so this kind of social structure protects the workers, certainly, but it protects the entire workplace all the way up to the top. And if you've been a leader, you know that there are a lot of stressors that people who are working under you don't understand. And it can be very isolating to be a leader. And it can be very damaging to your emotional life and to your empathic capacities to be a leader. So an emotionally well-regulated structure will protect everyone. And we're going to talk about it, how that structure protects leaders, in the next video. Thank you.